back to the second part of entertaining Jeremy's card games. I taught you cat and mouse before. Now I'm going to teach you a new game that Kelsey and I actually invented. It's a rummy game, and it's a variation of a continental rummy with some elements of phase 10 in it also, which is why we call it phase rummy. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands here. To begin with, you take two decks and you put them together and you shuffle them up just like in the other game. Now this game is about scoring, so now this is a two-player game and it's all about scoring, so make sure that the smarter of the two is the one who's going to take all the scores, because there's a lot of math that gets involved. For us, it's always Kelsey. Now the first person who shuffles has the opportunity to deal first. Now dealing in this game is actually very important because you get a chance to score an extra 50 points right away. What you do is each player will get 11 cards, so of that it's 22, and me as the dealer, I take a guess and I see if I can get 22 cards or 11 cards to each person. You get 50 points if you either deal out exactly 11 cards or 11 cards plus one card to flip up. So either way, you get 50 extra points, which in this game is awesome. I, unfortunately, was one card short, so I didn't get the 50 points. So we have our 11 cards, and then you flip the first card over. Now this card goes to the person who did not deal. Now the reason this is called phase rummy is because this game is actually divided up into different phases. Unlike phase 10, however, you don't get stuck behind if you don't lay down. In fact, in this version, only one person lays down each round, but everyone moves up together. So we start with round 1, which is 2 sets of 3. Just you have to have 2 different 3-of-a-kinds. Pretty simple stuff. However, like I said before, only one person can lay down per turn. So only one person's getting points each turn. Now sometimes this works to where one person gets a whole high score and the other person gets really negative right off the bat. But typically the way it works with me and Kelsey is I'll win some, she'll lose some, and we usually end up pretty even toward the end anyway. Now since I dealt this 7, it's up to player 2 to decide if they want this 7 or not. If they do not want this 7, and I do, I have the choice to buy this. To buy it, I take the card and I take the top card with it. But let's look at my hand first. Out of my 11 cards, I'm showing 2 7s. So I want that, but we have to see what player 2 has first, since it's their option. See, now this is interesting. Player 2 doesn't have a single 7, so they probably wouldn't want this because you don't get the 2 sets of 3. The only way you can lay down is, first of all, having the qualifying phase for that round, which this one is 2 sets of 3, but then you have to figure out something else to do with the rest of the cards. So you can either have more sets of 3, or you can lay down runs. Runs have to be at least 4 cards. The interesting thing, like I said before, player 2 is not showing a single 7, so they might not want it. However, they're showing a 5 of diamonds, a 6 of diamonds, and an 8 of diamonds. So if they pick up the 7 of diamonds, they've already got a run. Now they might not have their 2 sets of 3 yet, but they already have 4 cards that will help them lay down, so they don't have to worry about that right now. So they've picked up the 7 of diamonds, and it's my turn, and I'm upset I didn't get it, but it's okay, because I'm going to draw the top card, which is an 8. I now have 2 8s, 2 7s, and 3 4s. So I've already got one of mine. Now I just have to try to figure out the rest. And this is where it goes. You draw, I draw. We keep going until eventually one person has enough in their cards to lay down, and you can discard 1. And that person gets the score. Now, there's a couple other things about this game, including buying cards. So let me explain to you what buying cards is. Every time you discard, you put it out here in the middle, and then the next person discards, and you stack it up on top, but still revealing the number below. So I'm just throwing out random cards out here right now. These mean absolutely nothing. Okay, after a few rounds, we come up with this. Now let's say I've been building something in my hand, and now I'm close to getting out, but I need another king. I could hope to draw a king here, or there's a king right here in the middle. Now this is where the game becomes a little risky. Now you can buy a card out here. So what you do is if I want this king, you can take the king, but you have to take the 2 cards surrounding it. Then you take the rest of the pile and you shift it over. So I've got the king that I wanted, but now I'm stuck with this 5 and 6. Now these are 5 and 6 of spades, so maybe I have something in my hand that matches this and I can keep them. Or if not, I can discard one of them, or if they kind of match, I can discard something else in my hand. So that's how you buy a card. Now make sure you put jokers in the deck, because jokers are very helpful when it comes to laying down and having the score. Now jokers can hurt you really bad though. Let me explain to you what the scoring is. Any number card, for example a 9, 4, 3, 2, whatever, those are worth 5 points. Face cards, not counting the ace, so 10, jack, queen, and king are worth 10 points. Aces are worth 15 points. Now jokers have 2 different types of values. If you're the person who laid down and used a joker, it's worth 20 points. However, if you're the person that did not lay down and you're the one getting all the negative points, a joker in your hand is worth 50 points. Now that can rack your score really high. And that's the basic gist of the game. Now that's only phase 1. So let's say I was the one who won phase 1. I would get however many points, and player 2, which is normally Kelsey, would get however many negative points. Now we move on to phase 2. Remember, phase 1 is 2 sets of 3, or 2 sets, which is 3 of a kind. So king, 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 jack, 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 4, 4, 4, whatever. Phase 2 is you have 1 set and 1 run. So 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, that's the set. Now the run, remember you have to have 4 cards though, and they have to be suited. So it can be 2, 3, 4, 5 of diamonds, or jack, queen, king, ace of hearts. The ace can be high or low, but you can't loop around. So you can't have queen, king, ace, 2. That's stupid. Phase 3 is you have to have 2 runs. Phase 4 is you have to have 3 sets. Phase 5 is you have to have 8 cards of the same suit. So 8 clubs, or 8 hearts, or 8 diamonds. The next phase, you have to have 2 sets and 1 run. The next phase is 2 runs and 1 set. Now the final phase is 3 runs. Now there's also an additional rule in this. Every other time you could lay down and have 1 card to discard. However, in the final round, all of your cards have to match. You can't discard a single card. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but if you've ever played Phase 10 or Rummy or anything like that, hopefully it all makes sense to you. And that is how you play Phase Rummy. Now the reason we invented it is because Continental Rummy, which is very similar to this game, but it's designed to play with more than 2 people. So if you have a player 2 and you have time on your hands, that's how you play Phase Rummy. See you next time.